I'm so sorry. This might be my favorite Relient K song.
It's not, but I'll let you think that
You're
right
just
now.
feeling it right now. I
No,
know this is how you
it might
operate.
be.
You're in the moment with it. And I don't want to take that away from you, Kylan.
Welcome to Church Jams Now, the podcast where three former youth group kids and current music nerds deep dive into Christian music from the 90s and 2000s. I, of course, am your co-host, Kylan Savage. With me, as always, is Mr. TJ Smith. How are you tonight, TJ?
I'm doing pretty good, Kylan.
Would you say you can't complain?
Sorry. Don't blink, Kylan. I just nearly had a disaster, but I'm okay. I'm doing better. I can't complain.
Oh, good. And of course we have our beautiful producer, Josh Olson. Josh, how does it feel when you were my baby?
It felt great, and I gotta say, hanging out with y'all might not be sweeter than being in the Tetons where I was a lost boy, but I got found and I can't complain.
Yeah, Josh, you got boomeranged out there, and then we
sure
got
did.
you right back.
Yeah. We're going to have to make a rule about you guys doing multiple references. Cause
I know, because
kind of like took
because the
both of
hierarchy
mine that I was going to...
Yeah.
I got a little greedy. I'm sorry.
I was going to say this episode has disaster written all over it, but,
Okay,
what do I know?
why do you think it has disaster written all over it, though? Can we get,
Yeah, just right up top.
Let's get into
should we
it,
just
yeah.
get into it?
It's a contentious record.
Yes, we are talking about Collapsible Lung by American rock band Relient K, because it has an anniversary. Is that right? Is that why we're doing it?
Not really.
Of
This
sorts.
is coming out on the release date, but it's
Okay.
like 13 years or something, or 12
Okay.
years.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's fully a man now, according to the Jewish
Yeah, 12
I think
years
it's
old.
just 12. Is it 12 or... Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It is. Yes, that is. It is when you were its baby no more.
It is now a lost boy.
Yeah, it is now a lost
It's not a
boy.
lost boy, it is a lost man. Okay, Josh,
Yes.
as our beautiful Everlord, the fact that this record, we're not covering it for a big anniversary, I'm just curious. I'd like to peek behind the pop filter a little bit and ask you specifically why you thought we should cover this now.
Great question.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of going through, and I've started doubling up on some of our bigger artists and just albums that we want to talk about, which is why we did RK's self-titled for its 25th anniversary, which that makes sense earlier this year, a couple months ago in April. But this is one that I know that you are, Kylan, are
Yes.
you have some maybe not some hot takes, but that you are an advocate for this record. And
Some passionate
you,
takes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you are. And I don't know if we've ever talked about it to an in-depth extent, and where it lines up to where our episode releasing, our normal Wednesday release lines up with the release date. It's just the 12th anniversary, but I mean, it's either this or wait 3 years till it's 15 or something like that. So I was like,
Right.
it'd just be fun to just
Right.
talk
And
about
who knows
it
if
now.
I'm going to be doing this in 3 years?
Who knows? You might not like this album in 3 years, and then our episode wouldn't be as interesting. So
That's true.
True.
I had to get it while it was hot.
Okay, cool. 12 years old and hot.
Don't take that out of context.
I do. This is fully just based on vibes, but between our two Christmas albums, does this episode now make Relient K our most covered band in CJN history?
I think we've done 5 records because we did as well. So this
Right,
is
exactly. We
our
did
5th.
2 lefts, the 2.
Oh wait, that's 6. I guess if we count both
Yeah,
of
it's
the
6,
Christmas ones as
including
separate.
both
Yeah.
the Christmas albums.
Yeah.
I would say, but I would say it's appropriate because one, they have a lot of records, and we like to talk about this. RK was the band that
that inspired the entire show. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's the reason we
It's
exist.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, before we get into Josh's research corner, cue the great theme song that I made for that.
The confusing stinger.
No sense in the middle of summer.
because the reason we talk, like, that's all in a Patreon episode, right? Or is it on a main feed? All of the reasoning behind it, it doesn't matter.
I remember.
It is what it is.
Me neither.
Let me just tease something really quick that I will get into in the part B of this record. This album has some of my favorite Relient K songs. And this album, TJ, I don't know if you know this album, in a lot of ways, in a lot of very specific memories that I'll get into, reminds me of you. This is a record that I
Really?
very, very, very closely associate with you. Not because of how you feel about it, but because of experiences that we've had that I associate with you.
Okay. That is fascinating.
Right?
I can't wait to hear more. Yeah. Because
All
I
right.
didn't have any idea.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
right. Like,
Yeah.
you've never told me that.
Yeah.
So
That's why I'm
I find
excited
that
to
stuff
talk
really
about
interesting.
it. Yeah.
Because we all have these, like, sort of internally, we have these associations of, like, with people and certain music or movies or whatever, like different forms of art. But
Right.
rarely do we talk about them. So
Yeah.
I love that this is an opportunity to delve into that part of the subconscious.
Yeah.
That's why I planned this episode for his 12th anniversary. Of course. I knew
Great
all
job,
that.
Josh.
Thanks.
Our benevolent Everlord.
Sweet. Okay, let's kick it over to my favorite part of the show, Josh's Research Corner.
So, to reiterate, as we've talked about before, we've covered Relient K. This is now our 6th time on the show. And fortunately, they have a lot more records, so we can cover them probably 6 more times, and even more so than that. But just to remind you, they're from Canton, Ohio, American rock band. Members for this record, we have a new member set that we've never covered before. That is, of course, Matt Thiessen on vocals and probably piano and guitars. Hoops on guitar, John Schneck, John Warren, and newcomer since to the show. This is like his 3rd release with the band,
Right.
or 4th, I guess, technically. Ethan Luck, who I don't know if we've ever talked about a record with Ethan Luck on the show, which is crazy to think because he's played
is
on half of the CCM adjacent records
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
Well, this is just more inspiration for us to get him on the show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he's playing
Absolutely.
drums. He replaced Dave a couple years back. The record we were talking about, of course, is Collapsible Long, which was released on July 2nd, 2013. This is its 12th anniversary. It is Relient K's 8th LP, if you don't count their Christmas records or K's for Karaoke, and of like their proper studio original. And then the label was Mono versus Stereo. It was distributed through Columbia. This and K for Karaoke were the only ones that have the Columbia on there as well. I don't know if K for Karaoke was also distributed, but maybe coming off of their Capitol deal, they
Interesting,
got some
yeah.
distribution through that. Producers, plural, was Paul Moak,
yeah.
who we've never covered on the show, but he's done Seabird, Matt Marr, Leland. I know he works with Ethan Luck a lot, House of Heroes. He did a Love Drug record as well, which we have not covered yet. And of course, 4 of the songs were produced by Aaron Sprinkle. And this makes it the only LP in Relient K's catalog that has no Mark Lee Townsend on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it show? We'll see. We'll get into it. It was
I'm
also
excited
out.
to talk about it.
yeah. It was mixed by Jerry McNeely, which is the closest we've ever gotten to a tooth and nail trinity for Relient K, and probably ever will.
Yeah.
Charts and performance. This debuted on Billboard 200 at 16, which is their 4th highest charting record.
Oh, wow.
5 Score was at
Nice.
number 6. And Forget Not So Down were both at 15. And then Billboard Christian was number 2. Songwriting credits. There are lots of co-writes. Runtime is 11 songs at 35 minutes and 38 seconds. And normally we'll end on the artwork. I don't know if you guys have anything that you want to talk about specifically with the artwork.
I love it.
I like it. I dig it.
Yeah.
It's right here on my handy dandy CD copy.
There it is.
I didn't pull out my vinyl.
It's
which
a pair
I
of
do have
lungs.
the OG vinyl.
Oh, is that a...
Oh, yeah. Show us the inside there, Josh.
Oh, it opens up and you got some more
Digipack?
lungs.
As opposed to
yeah,
dual
it is.
case. Nice.
It is Digipack. I think they like when they released it, they did them on vinyl, and some of the vinyl like came with like the CD slipcase with it that just has like RK stamped on it.
Oh, interesting.
But then I think there was so much demand for CDs in 2013 that they were like, I guess we'll make CDs, and so they made some CDs a little bit afterwards. Same thing happened for Air for Free. That I don't think they pressed CDs, and everyone clamored for them, including myself. And then they finally were like, okay, I guess we'll make some.
Do you know who did the design of the packaging?
I can tell you right now. It was design and illustration by Ryan Best, Besch, for Your Cinema.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. No, I like it.
I dig it.
Yeah.
So that's my research.
Josh, can you give us co-write credits as we go through? Is that too big?
I was
going to
ask that too, but
Okay. Yeah, I can.
I don't know if that was.
I would be really curious, and it would help me as we go through the album actually quite a bit. Since
Yeah.
you got that.
I mean,
info.
yeah. Do you want to know like specific
don't
people or just like which ones are the mix of like Thiessen and Hoops or whatnot? Or do you want to know like
If there's some names we might not have predicted for a Relient K release.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything beyond like the band members or producers,
Okay.
I would say.
Got it.
Top
be
10
of note.
craziest Relient K co-writes. You would not
That's
believe
what I'm
number
saying.
7.
You would not believe
Good.
who is on number 7.
That's the cold open right there.
Yeah. Okay. So are you guys okay with me going last, talking about our history and Flopper Bop predictions? And
Sure.
we can hopefully maybe get through this fairly quickly. Move right on in.
Yep. That's good.
Josh, what is your history with Collapsible Lung?
So I had been an avid Relient K fan for a long time. So I was greatly anticipating this record. I do even remember, I can't remember what show I went to. It was at House of Blues, and Ethan Luck was he was being like a roadie or something like that, like setting up like and I think he was tearing stuff down afterwards, and I saw him and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go ask him like when the record is coming out, because like it had been a long time that everyone was like, Relient K has a new record coming out, but no one knows when it is. And I went to go up and ask him, and there were some people up front that were already asking him, and he was just like, I don't know, man, kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to bother this guy. But everyone wanted to know. And then it finally got announced and then came out in July of 2013. And I remember getting the package, I think at work, at DBU. And I remember listening to this record a lot and kind of being at odds with it. As most Relient K fans were for a long time. We're just like, what happened with this record? What's going on? I will say I definitely fell more in the camp that did not like it. Like I still like listened to it, but it wasn't like, oh, I totally am here for this change of direction that they've done. So it definitely kind of felt like a kind of somewhat hollow record with a lot of the co-writes and things that we'll talk about a little bit later. So I don't think I ever like hated this record, but I was never like into what they were doing with it, but I did find a couple things along the way that I did enjoy in it as well. I will say that now looking back, since they've released Air for Free, which was like a big kind of course correction, it does make it makes this seem okay, because you're like, okay, they figured it out, they pulled it back together. So like, but when this was the last thing that they had done, you're like, what is going to happen with Relient K? Are they done? Is this what they're going to keep doing? It was a weird time, and it had been previously with the K's for Karaoke 2 years earlier, when you're like, okay, a covers record, that's odd, but so it was a weird time for being a Relient K fan. And yeah, I was kind of at odds mostly with this record.
Okay. I get that. That makes sense. TJ, what is your history with this record?
Well, I was in the chrysalis for a while, but at the point that this record came out, I had come out as a full hipster butterfly. Like I had gone full hipster
100%.
at this point. So like
Yes.
I did not I did not listen to this
Yes.
album when it came out.
And this ties into my story as well. I love this.
Okay. And like at the point before I knew we were covering this, I probably, because I know this is something we cover a lot, I probably listened to this record like once, and I'm gonna say like I knew a handful of songs from it that I had heard more frequently, but like I'm gonna say even that first like initial listen when I did finally give it a go, I don't even know if I finished like the record, but somehow I knew Collapsible Lung pretty well, the track.
Okay.
And so like I think I jumped around and like just found ones that kind of resonated with me more, as opposed to the like front to back record experience that I'm usually a big proponent of. So
Right.
it was that rough, I think, for me that like I couldn't even do the thing that I'm very like always vocally advocating for, which is like give the record a fair shake from front to back. I think Forget and Not Slow Down was a moment of departure for me where I was like, I like what's happening here, but I don't love it in the same way that I did at the time that this one came out, right? So that's not necessarily how I feel about that record now, but like that's how I felt when this one came out. And so that, because that was already the case with me and the way I felt about Relient K, this being such a huge departure sonically, like was enough to really kind of shake me loose from feeling like a core fan, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Which is interesting. Like, I think that's a cool part of this, us covering this record at this point in the show, even, because I don't know that we've talked much about this, but like eras of bands and how different listeners identify with the eras rather than other eras, right? So,
well, and then
I just think we're going to have an opportunity for like interesting discussion on that level that we haven't necessarily gotten into
well,
in
and
the past.
TJ, I feel like your experience is probably like relatively common for like Relient K fans of our age, right?
Mhm.
Like,
and especially those that
where-
started with the first album.
Yes,
like-
exactly.
It just makes sense.
Yeah, and like the time of life that you're in, like when this record comes out, like that just
Right.
it is easy to think that maybe they've like lost the plot a little bit. So for me, I've seen like a lot of conversations online, like people ranking this as their least favorite Relient K album by like a lot. Like it's like a pretty wide margin between like Collapsible Lung and anything else. And that's just so funny to me because this is the album that got me back into Relient K. You know, so we covered and I loved it so much. 5 Score, I didn't listen to a ton because by the time that came out, I think because hit me at such a specific time in my life that like 2004, 2005 were like my music tastes were like changing, like I was changing as a person. And you know, I had 2 lefts before that. There was still this like weird part of my brain that was like, oh, okay, I loved Relient K in this sort of like before time, right? Like it was like,
yes,
it's almost kind of like
that's what I'm
kid
saying.
music
Eras.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, like going back now and listening to stuff like that's so not the case. But at that time, I was like, okay, was really good. That's still sort of at like the tail end of my like kid era. So because of that, 5 Score and Forget and Not Slow Down both like fully missed me.
Except for when you were riding in the car with me and I was jamming Forget and Not Slow Down.
Yeah, and I was like, I like this Josh guy, okay, but he still listens to kid music.
To kid music.
But this album came out, was it 2013, right?
2013.
That was when I moved into my first apartment by myself in Oak Cliff, Dallas. And I was a Spotify subscriber. It was still free at that point. And this was this was one of the first like records that I found on Spotify that was like, oh wait, I can just like listen to this entire album. Like I don't have to go to Best Buy and buy it. Like I can just listen to it. And it was right around that time because TJ, I don't know if you remember helping me move into that apartment, but I had this old black leather couch with the metal sides that I got from my mom's office that she worked at. I don't know if we were allowed to take it, but I think I just assumed that I could take it. And I had my minivan, and you helped me move it up those stairs of that like creepy ass apartment.
An accomplice.
It was scary. It
And
was very scary.
I had a little like Bluetooth speaker and listened to this album while we were moving that couch into the apartment.
I don't remember that part at all.
That's fine. That's okay. Like, I'm not mad about it. I get it. Like, why would you?
I remember thinking I was going to fall off the stairs.
Yes. No, it was very scary. It was like, I mean, this building was built in like 1910, right? And it was like, I guess everyone was tinier 100 years ago because like you could not fit anything. It was like a thing.
Nope.
But there's a specific song on this album that I will always associate with pulling a couch up the stairs with you, TJ.
I love it. That's so great.
Listen, is this album perfect? No. Is it better than I think most Relient K fans give it credit for? Yes. And I've come semi-prepared to get into it. So,
right. Can't wait.
The floor will be yours.
Yes. So, to finish off this part A, what would y'all have ranked this before doing our listen for the show? Flop or bop?
I'll say this is one of the rare and few RKs that I would flop.
Wow.
Yep.
What else would be on that list for you, Josh?
I mean, I think we talked about it in the self-title. Like, it was right on the line.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably really it for me. Like, so this was a flop. Self-titled barely made it into bop.
Wow.
I'm on the bop side of the fence,
Okay.
and then everything else is comfortably a bop.
Okay. TJ?
I would have said a flop because I have to like trust my sensibilities from when I was initially exposed to this album and trust that like if Air for Free and Forget Not Slow Down are albums that I can like touch them in my mind. Like I can like, there's like a substance there. There's like something tangible that I can call up. And this one like just does not have that aside from like a few tracks that I can sort of get my hands around. Like I can kind of like
that makes sense.
Feel a part of this album, but I can't feel the whole album like deep down in my bones. So I would have to say a flop.
Can you feel it in your lungs though?
I can't feel it in my lungs. They've collapsed.
They have collapsed.
Okay, I am also I'm gonna predict that at the end of this, it's still gonna be a flop for TJ, but I feel like I may be able to convince Josh to move over to Bear Bop territory.
Wow, interesting.
Okay,
we'll see.
I like this.
We'll see.
Got your work cut out for you.
I've got a lot of predictions on this episode,
This is a little bit of like the format that I pitched to y'all a long time ago. Of like this is essentially like a proto,
like a pilot of that. Yes, for sure. Okay,
so which I love because
we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna get the party started with 2013's "Collapsible Lung" by Relient K.
Don't blink. We'll be right back.
Josh, how long were you sitting on that?
No, I literally just came out with it.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. I mean, Either way, like whether you had thought of that like a week ago or now,
Yeah,
like
it doesn't
it's
matter.
still so good.
Still genius.
Kylan, I've got a band that you may not be very aware of. They're kind of underground.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of this band from Canton, Ohio called Relient?
I have not, but I have heard of the pizza place in the Philippines. That's a really deep cut.
It's a really deep cut.
Shout out to Sadie Hawkins Pod.
Yes, Danny and Jess know all too well. Wow, very deep cut. Well, I'm glad you know about the pizza place. There's also a band called Relient K.
Oh, cool.
And at this point in their career, they have a good amount of records. And a lot of those records, LPs and CDs, can be found at our sponsor, colliderecords.com.
No way.
Yeah, this year was a big year. We had the 20th anniversary of and guess what? They have the vinyl of that. It was also the 15th anniversary of Forget and Not Slow Down, and they have that on vinyl. Hot take, two best Relient K records. Not in that order, though, in my opinion. But they've got, we'll talk about that later. But they've got they got a lot of other Relient K vinyl and some CDs in there still. If you're a CD guy like me, they got a lot of great stuff. So if you like Relient K, Collide Records is the place for you.
For real. Unfortunately, at this point, I don't think they offer pizza deliveries, but in lieu of that, you can pick up, like...
There's a comment section you could put in there, like, maybe
true.
they're looking to expand their business. Yeah.
That's true. We should definitely talk to Greg about that.
Yep.
Have we got an idea for him? But yeah, man, I think if you're the kind of person that is not, like... format phobic, right? Like if you like all kinds of different formats, I think on their site, like I think you can pretty much fill out the entire or a vast majority of the Relient K discography.
Yeah, and definitely some stuff that's still hard to come by these days. So another thing to shout out, they have the Air for Free vinyl, which has the fun alternate track list that's vinyl exclusive as well.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they kind of altered the track list for it, so
interesting.
You can get a different listening experience on vinyl as opposed to streaming or CD. So
nice.
Yeah, but if you go to Collide Records and you get all the Relient K that you can imagine to bundle up and put it in your cart, I've got some good news for you.
Do you have to use your fingers?
You have to use your fingers, and when it comes to the promo code, you can type in Church Jams Now, all one word, and you will receive not 1, not 5, not 10, but 20% off your first order from colliderecords.com.
That's insane.
It's a great deal.
That is a great deal. So once again, use your fingers, type in promo code ChurchJames now at checkout at colliderecords.com to get all of your Relient K needs met, plus others. No pizza, though.
Not yet, at least. TBD.
Not yet.
Pizza.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed those ads as much as we enjoyed making them. Of course, we are talking about American rock band Relient K and their 2013 endeavor, Collapsible Lung. Do we have any general thoughts before we dive into the album?
I do not.
Okay. I have song prediction, like favorite song predictions.
Okay.
All right. That's fun.
I know that's usually Josh's thing.
It is. This was I didn't know what to predict on this record.
Yeah.
I could see Kylan picking literally any song.
Any song? Well,
honestly.
okay, there's
Almost.
one song. There's one song on this album.
Well, okay, I also do have some inside information that I can't. You've told me, you texted me something about a song that you really like.
That's true.
So it would be a Bop 10 for you.
And there's one
that
song.
That would be my guess.
There's one song that if you predicted it was my favorite song, would be an instant like friendship ender. If you're like, I could see this being your favorite song, I'd be like, you don't know me at all.
Okay.
Okay. My predictions.
I might have a guess for that, but I don't want to air it right
now. My predictions for favorite song. I think Don't Blink, track number 1, is going to be Josh's favorite song.
Okay.
And I think TJ, it's a toss-up between Collapsible Lung and Sweeter. I think
Okay.
Before like digging into the album, I think Collapsible Lung just might have been your favorite almost by default. But I think where you're at now as a person, I think Sweeter is going to be your favorite song. So,
Ooh.
Okay. I like it.
all right, guys. Don't blink or you'll miss the rest of the episode. Let's start with track number
It's
one.
a long blink.
Yeah. Don't blink for the next 3.5 hours.
your lungs will collapse.
Here's track number one. Don't blink.
To start off the record, this is a Thiessen and Hoops written song.
And you can tell. It feels like
You can tell.
Relient K.
Yes.
They're back.
Matt Thiessen is still stylishly fly fishing for his publishing company.
Oh, nice.
Matt Hoops is
Forgot
Matthew
about
Hoops music. So, he's
I
all
love
business.
it. I love it. Matt Hoops has a little bit like to reference our last episode. Like his vibe does remind me of Jason Martin a little bit. Like there's a little bit of like a blue
like,
collar
Just want to play guitar,
sensibility.
man. Yeah.
Like
I'll make some
Yep.
pedals. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This that guitar line is so catchy. Am I right?
Josh, is it your favorite song? Yes or no? Prove me wrong right now.
It is not my favorite song.
Ah,
It is up
Oh,
there for me, but it is
damn it.
not my favorite song. I'm sorry, Kyle.
I guessed it was your favorite because this is the most like Relient K, and especially like latter Relient K of anything else on this record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think I definitely agree with that. It's got some great guitar work from Hoops, which I said, I can't wait to hear more from him on this record. We'll see if we get to it or not. But I do love that lyrically this perfectly follows up Forgetting Not Slow Down, which that was a breakup record of Thiessen experiencing loss, and now he's being reminded after coming out of that time that love is beautiful and true, life is beautiful and new, and that life isn't fleeting to get caught up in what you've lost. And it's like, don't blink or it's gone. Like it feels perfect Relient K of like what you want with like Thiessen, like of like wearing his heart on his sleeve and still like expressing some like pain and some things, but like in a very optimistic way that you love to hear
Yes.
from Thiessen. And musically, it's great. It's everything that you're like, this sounds like Relient K. It's maybe a little bit more trim, and poppier, but it definitely sounds like them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The core of a Relient K song is there, and the bells and whistles that you would expect of a record in 2013 are also there, which makes it a great opener and a strong song on this record. I totally agree, Josh. I love your point about the kind of bittersweet nature of the lyrical material that is exactly what we've come to expect from Thiessen. The kind of optimistic pre-chorus, the chorus that feels a little uncertain, but still like open, and there's some idealism in it, like, but it's grounded ultimately. Like there's a self-awareness, and I mean, it almost feels like a Switchfoot song. Am I right? Like it's like Relient K doing Switchfoot.
Ooh,
Yeah.
The gang vocals,
I like that.
The big like anthemic chorus, you know, like
Yeah.
it feels like it could be on Beautiful Let Down, or maybe a later Switchfoot record.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it feels like Switchfoot a little bit. Also, I love to your point about Hoop's guitar work, like the guitar line mirroring the vocal line. When she said she loved me, right? Like the little descending melodic line, like they lock in together. Great moment on this song. Honestly, for me, yeah, it's a great track. Not my favorite, but it's up there. But the ending bums me out a little bit. The choice, right, to end not on love is beautiful and true or life is beautiful and new, but on every word that stretched the truth. Like when she said she loved me.
Ah, but
It's
man.
very
Oh,
dark.
okay. But this gets into my whole thing with this record. And I think this is why I love it. I have this note for another song, but I think this might be like the darkest, most cynical Relient K record lyrically.
You think? No.
And I think
way.
that contributes to why I love it so much, and we'll get into it later. Like,
Sad boys, put your hands up.
well, it's not even just sad boys. It's lost boys, and we'll get into that.
The perfect transition, Kylan.
To track 3.
No, I do want to say, TJ, I think that is the maybe the marker in the road. Like, it's the fork in the road, that if he would have ended on what you'd have, the love is beautiful, true life is beautiful and new kind of thing, that's like, okay, we're going this direction. It's a regular RK record, but then he ends it on that, and then he's like, we're going this way.
Yes.
And so it does make sense in like the trajectory of the record.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think where, Kylan, where you're finding something to love, I'm finding something, not to show my hand like too much, because it's very, this record is very fascinating because it's very nuanced, and so it's not black and white, but like a little bit of my feelings are that, not that I disagree with that choice, but that it is not like Relient K. It is not the choice that Relient K would make.
Yeah.
So I'll leave that there. But that doesn't make the song bad. That makes the song interesting and a great choice to end an opening track with a little melodrama, with a little like cliffhanger that's a little dark. But I think like what I was left wondering every time I listened to this song is when he says love is beautiful and true, life is beautiful and new, and he's talking about this person that reminds him of that, is he talking to a higher power, or is he talking to a significant other? And that's a question that I think we get answered later in this album.
Right.
But that's the question I had in my mind for the duration of like my analysis of this album.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Makes
ultimately impacts my feeling on it based on what I've come to know about this band.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it's a fascinating like
I think that was great.
opener.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
I
and it takes us to an interesting place.
yes, it does, and I love the place it takes us to. Before we move on, I just have to very briefly say something that is only interesting potentially to the two of y'all.
Okay.
But the organ opening this track was, if not 100%, like 90% my inspiration for opening Save My Soul, the opening track on Winter Light, opening that with an organ. Yeah.
Very cool.
That's how much I loved it. Guys, I love this record.
Wow. Well, you better defend it.
I'm trying. We'll see if I throw that defense out, if it comes back like a boomerang.
You better snap back. Because here we go.
Back.
Track number 2, Boomerang.
This song is written by Matt Thiessen, Evan Bogart, and Ari Levine.
But not Katy Perry, right?
No, not Katy Perry.
So it's not a Katy Perry song?
Katie Hudson song.
Is it telling me?
Katie Hudson writing credits here.
Neither. Okay.
Nope.
Got it. I got a little confused.
It's
Why would you think that, TJ?
based on a true story involving Katie Hudson.
It's easily the most like radio pop moment that we've heard from Relient K to date.
Yeah.
Like at the point that this record had come out, right? And like you listen to Don't Blink and you're like, all right, cool, Relient K, got it. Great. Track 2. What? Like that's, and I get that I'm like delivering all the beats that you've expected for the Relient K fan, the version of the Relient K fan that we mentioned earlier, that Kylan talked about. And Josh, that you said you were kind of in that same place. Like I get that I'm kind of like the cliche fan at this point, but it is a little confusing. And listening to it in 2025, even more so, like what my takeaway is like, wow, this record is a real time capsule. It's like it's a sign of the times that it came from. Like it's full of the like radio pop implements, like the talk singing intro, the really catchy, like kind of high melodic line that just kind of like descends down almost like I'm trying to think of a good analogy. Like there's just so many radio songs where like the melody soars up and then it just like falls down kind of over a period of time. And that feels very 2013. The synths are very 2013. Like,
in the best way.
Okay, just like
it's the
pop
best
radio.
It's the best Cobra Starship song that they never wrote.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Because it's like
touch point.
It's radio adjacent, but still like, well, I mean, like, fuck that, like a little bit. But also, hey, if you want to give me like video game money, like if you want to put this in a trailer, like, please,
we'd like to
let's
get
do
some
that.
sync royalties.
Yeah. Like I'm genuinely surprised that this was not featured in a trailer for like a Netflix movie circa 2015.
Maybe because it's trying too hard to do that. I don't know. We'll see.
That's kind of what I'm left feeling.
No, it's just a good pop rock song, guys.
No, that doesn't mean it's not a good song.
Yes.
I think it's a very good song. It's super catchy. Like, again, I gotta say it. It feels like a pop radio move, but like the cowbell, like
it's so
Chanel
good.
5.
It's perfect.
Like the subject matter, right? Like the lyrical content. Like, you're at my favorite bar. Your hoodie's in my car. All of the elements are there. Like, the formula is perfect. And even the switch to the quiet chorus with like marimba or whatever it is that gets real like vibey and like atmospheric is great. Like, it's very cool. I think they were trying to be like a pop band. I think they were trying to go for
they were. They were. Be, like, and that's okay.
Top 40. It is okay.
Which I get, the music industry's crashed at this point, so they're probably like, we gotta make some money so we can like afford our houses.
I can't believe you guys are gonna fault Matt Thiessen for being too good at writing pop music. That's my takeaway from what y'all are saying.
But there's a difference between if you're just writing a pop music, like a pop song for someone else, or if you're writing something that we're like, oh, I want this to sound like it's from Matt Thiessen, which it does not sound like.
Well, okay, so I had another touch point for me recently that helped sort of clarify where I land on this album. Girl in Red. I know I think we talked about this on our favorite albums of 2024. The thing that I love about her is that like her first couple records, like she was such a like singular voice, and I love her newest album. But to me, her newest album felt, I think the way I described it was like, it felt like she was auditioning to be a pop songwriter. Like a lot of the songs maybe didn't like represent the voice that I thought she had continued. Yes, yeah, from the first couple records, because I think with that record she was trying to show like, hey, I can write like really good.
I can
pop
diversify
songs.
my sound and create all kinds of different worlds of songwriting.
I think to a certain extent that's what Matt was doing with this record. I don't think, I will say, like as the resident apologist of this record, I don't think it's entirely successful.
I agree.
But I do think it's successful on this song. I think this is just a grade A pop rock song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he does a good job of like having a specific vision lyrically, and having a specific point of view, but being vague enough that like you could sell this song off to anybody at this point.
It does
right?
feel like it
in
could
a heartbeat
be picked up by anyone else.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat, man.
And it would make
so
sense.
catchy.
Yeah.
I'll take this moment to say that's a little bit what I take issue with, like sort of to Josh's point. Like, I can acknowledge superior songwriting, great pop sensibilities, all these things like all day long, but there are some like pillars that I expect to find in a Relient K album. So that's sort of where I'm coming from. that I'm looking for. Not a Relient K that's stuck in 2003, but a Relient K that's able to utilize the tools at their disposal in 2013 to make the best album that is that band. And granted, like Josh mentioned in his lovely research corner, we've had a little lineup change. Pretty significant part of that was Dave stepping away. And I feel it. Like it makes sense that Matt would be like, this is my pop songwriter audition tape.
Yeah.
To support your theory, Kylan. Because he lost Dave Douglas. Like he lost like one of the best parts of like their punk pop formula, which makes sense. He's like, well, this is a great opportunity for me to like play in the
And I think he had some co-writes on the Owl City record, right?
Yes,
so he's
he
like,
did. Yeah,
me and Adam maybe can kind of dabble our toes in this.
Mm-hmm. And another big part of this, right? Like I mentioned at the end of Don't Blink, is he speaking to a higher power or is he speaking to a significant other? This is a murky love song, right? This is a messy love song. So like, if the question was left unanswered in that song, we're starting to get a little bit of an answer here.
Yes.
It's not what I'm stoked on.
Oh, I'm so stoked on it though. Oh, I love it.
I am okay with it, and I respect the pop like concept that's happening here, and it's effective. So I want to be clear.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad song.
Right,
It's a killer song.
No. It's I mean, I think that just comes down to sensibility and type of art that you relate to. And I think
or resonates with you in that moment.
Yes.
That you listen to it, right?
And I think that's ultimately, TJ, like why this doesn't resonate with you and why when I found this album in 2013,
it totally did.
Really did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're also a
completely
much
get it.
bigger pop guy than the
Yeah,
two
exactly.
of us, which is,
Exactly.
we haven't said it
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
but that's always why I'm like, oh, that makes sense why
That's
you
a
like
great
this album,
point.
because you're a big pop guy. So, yep.
Yeah, because okay, like I can say like right now, like in terms of Relient K as a band, I could see this like being a like minor release. In terms of just like if you just meet this album where it's at as a pop rock record.
Yeah. Without worrying about the legacy of Relient K.
Exactly, which I'm not precious about at all.
You're not really that way about
pretty
music
great.
in general.
Exactly.
It's true.
And I think Josh and I we share that sensibility a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Which is, again, makes this an interesting album to cover.
I
does.
know.
It does.
I
I have
know.
few couple things here. Just to note that Tim Skipper from House of Heroes does some backing vocals. Another Ohio boy.
Oh, nice.
Oh, sweet.
I did hear them play the song before the record came out, so I wasn't as taken aback as like someone who would have been like, "What happened here?" And this was like
did
early.
it feel more rock? Like when you heard it?
It did. Like I was like, "This is an
could see
interesting
live.
direction," but it didn't feel like as different as it did on the record. But it was enough to be like, "Okay, I already know this album is going in an interesting direction. We'll see if I'm here for it or not."
Right.
And then my last note is that it's interesting that this song is called Boomerang, since the repeated hook of the snap back is his simile to the rubber band. So it's like most of the hook is about
It
the rubber
should
band.
be Rubber Band.
Yeah. Boomerang is the better title, but it's just
It's a better
funny that
title,
it's like,
which is why they went for it.
yeah, it's just funny that you're like, oh, what's that song? Boomerang? Snap back. The rubber band song. Yeah, Boomerang. Yeah, it's like,
Boomerang. Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Great song, though.
I think so.
it's a good pop song. I'll qualify.
I think it's a great pop song written by American rock band Relient K.
I would love to hear someone else singing this and be like, oh, Matt Thiessen has writing credits on it. Good for him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't disagree with that.
I think it kind of maybe potentially comes down to that. Like, do you want to just appreciate Matt Thiessen as a songwriter, or like versus how do you feel about these songs within the like? I feel like everyone else brings the context of Relient K into this album rather than letting it be.
The thing is,
but
if this was
I
a Matt
understand.
Thiessen record, it would be different. But it's
And
a
the
Relient
Earthquakes?
K record.
It could be an Earthquakes
yeah.
album. That would be great.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I think it's
I don't know.
great.
I'm a
as
lost
is,
boy
but I get
here.
it.
What
You
do
are
I
such a
know?
lost boy.
You're so lost, Josh.
Before
We'll
we
find
came
you, buddy.
around, hey, let's move on to track number 3, Lost Boy.
this is the most streamed song on the record, which does surprise me.
Yeah.
It was written by Matt Thiessen, Greg Wattenberg, Matt Musto, and Derek Furman.
Okay. So, did any of those people also co-write Pumped Up Kicks or Moves Like Jagger? I just need to know.
I don't know
Josh,
for
get
sure.
on that.
Don't know for sure, but maybe they were in the room with someone who did.
Listen, as the apologist on this record, I'll go ahead and up front acknowledge Matt Thiessen with this song has unfortunately joined the pantheon of pop or rock singers singing a song that references an underage girl in maybe not the best light in the beginning of the song.
I don't think.
Yep.
I don't think he's singing to someone who is currently 17 years old.
Right.
I think he's
Yes.
saying
no.
Yes, you were
for sure,
17
for
back
sure. You
when
were
I-
17, but it's like,
Right.
yeah. I mean,
The
you
optics
don't-
are murky. It's confusing.
yeah. I'm just getting that out there right now. I think this is a great song.
It's, again, a great pop song.
It is,
And they double down on right, we talk about sequencing. Let's talk about sequencing. The pop sensibility felt like the sequencing felt like it was trying to assert that.
It was trying
dominant
to like
feeling.
optimize. Yeah, it was like trying to game the system a little bit, which I love for it, but which I feel
Yeah.
like maybe people could potentially fault this record for trying to do that. For
Depends
maybe
on
feeling like
If you want a Relient K record
like
or not.
well, I think it works for this
I'm
Relient K record.
I'm really not trying to come at it
no,
like,
I know.
as an
I
attack.
know.
I really am like using
I
that
get
as a
it. Well, here's the thing.
distinguishing criteria.
I fully understand. And I think to an extent, I agree with the sentiment that, like, if Matt had just released this as, like, a side project or, like, a solo thing, like, because when you release anything, you do have to have the context of, like, what's come before it. And so there is, like, added baggage of this being a Relient K record that
Yeah.
I don't care about so much, but
Right.
I understand why people do. Like, I get it. It makes sense.
Well, and it's like we also, I mean, in when we covered that, we talked a lot about Matt's vocals, right, and just how transcendent they are so often, and we love that. In this one, he really does feel like he's trying to do Adam Levine. And like, I don't know, like, he's got a great voice and he has a great vocal performance on this song. So I want to get that out in the open. I want to be very clear that, again, I'm not knocking it, but, and this is kind of a theme for me throughout this album. I want to hear Matt Thiessen doing Matt Thiessen as the songwriter that he wants to be in Relient K. So we talk about songwriting, right? And just like honoring like him as a songwriter. I think there's also like a layer of context that should be considered within the realm of Relient K. There's a certain style of song that is effective and kick-ass and fun and somber sometimes. And just like it covers the gamut. Like, and there's still a lot of range to be found in that context. And this isn't that. And this is a great song. And both can be true.
So
at the
would
same
you
time.
say, like, some of the things that are, like, some of the authenticity that's potentially, like, attractive to Relient K fans?
Yeah,
Is
I don't
lost
believe him when
in this.
the Cupid saw me fit to let me dance with you. Like, that's not something Matt Thiessen would ever say. Like,
Right.
also
No.
the scenario of like,
but
run to this girl.
objectively, it is.
Uh-huh.
Right? Which is the thing that we have to grapple with.
Yeah, maybe. But
I mean, he's one of 4 people writing this song, so
True.
Yeah, exactly. So like, who wrote what line?
Yeah.
And like, it's the song of Theseus, right? Like, we have to ask, like, is this still the same band playing this song? Who wrote the song? Which ultimately, like, it's okay if it doesn't matter. Like for you, Kylan, in this case, and that's what is so interesting. Like, they called it a Relient K album.
I fully understand why that is like a breaking point for everybody else. Like I do want to communicate that. I don't think this is like, if you take it within the context of everything else, I don't think this is a Relient K record. Right?
It doesn't
like
feel
this
right.
is
Yeah.
it's its own thing off to the side.
Yeah.
And it does feel weird to like talk about it within the context of everything else that they've done. On its own, fucking grade A pop music.
Pretty cool thing.
But
Yeah.
I get it.
The chorus is especially pop to me. Like, we can kind of diverge from the like lyrical subject matter and wondering like who wrote which thing about the country baby singing at the airport. But like, yeah, the melodic structure of the chorus, yes, Josh, the A, wandering around. Like, that feels so
good.
I don't even know
That is
who
fun
that
to
sounds
sing.
like. It is.
It sounds like a Kesha song.
Melodic structures. Yes. Okay, great. That's a great example. So there's all these tiny, like, bite-sized pop ideas stuck together, and they called it a chorus. But we know Matt has strong choruses in him that are actual like strings of unique notes that are like not repeated and that are like unique like melodic ideas. That's not what's happening here. It's still a banger. It's sketchy. It's not a catchy Matt Thiessen chorus to me.
Yeah,
or certainly not a catchy Relient K chorus.
Agreed.
So that's what I'll say.
Okay, yes. I fully agree. But I think this record, lyrically and musically, so fully like now that we have some distance from it, right?
Yeah.
Feels like such a dark night of the soul for Matt Thiessen.
Totally.
It definitely does.
As a songwriter, that
Absolutely.
for me, even then, the like, I already just like, I'm on board with all of the pop stuff, right? But even if I wasn't, just as like a like super niche, like cultural artifact,
totally.
I love the fact that this exists because the music also speaks to like Matt kind of like losing his soul a little bit.
Yeah, he took a hard left turn.
Like
and you can
he's getting like sucked into the machine of
he's the lost boy, man.
Of pop songwriting of just like you know, if you're like watching a movie, right? And like his artistic journey, like this is the time, like this is the Pinocchio getting
on the island or whatever.
On the island of Lost Boys or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it like becoming so enamored
wrapped up in
with the idea of like
accomplish something.
These amazing things. And I will say like I don't think it fully works, but I do love the idea that he tried it.
Well, and you need the low point, right? If we're gonna get like Joseph Campbell with it, like the hero has to go through that like pit or that cave. They have to have their dark night of the soul, and sometimes like the biggest like revelations happen there that make them who they are later. So Air for Free, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, the Air for Free.
Like we don't know if that album would have been what it was without this one,
and it wouldn't feel as
it's
like a
also
return to form if we had gone through that. Yeah. Well, and I think as a Relient K fan, you knew this was like you could feel this because Forget Not So Down happened, which was great, and then they came out with the covers records. You're like, okay, Relient K feel like, and you feel like obviously you picture Matt Thiessen steering the ship, and so you're kind of like maybe he's kind of like doesn't know what to do with the band or like with what he wants to do in the band kind of thing. So they do the covers record and then they do this record. So it definitely makes sense that you're like, I don't know if he knows what's going on or the band, like with where they want to go, where they want to fit anymore. So all that does make sense.
And this is my like ultimate like Hail Mary, like try to convince Relient K fans to give this album a chance. Maybe just give it like a little more context, right? Like even if you don't love it, it makes sense why it exists at this time
in the discography.
It definitely
does.
Yeah.
I will say the guitar tone in verse 2 is pretty cool. It sounds like it has a very short delay with some heavy modulation on it, which makes for a nice little texture.
And Sprinkle produced this one, right?
I think he did. I think he's like the odd tracks on here.
I'm
like
pretty
3,
sure.
5, 7, 11.
Which is additionally very interesting.
That makes sense, and it makes me feel a little bit better because my last note was, I'm so sorry to Mark Lee Townsend, but I love the production on this song.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's Aaron Sprinkle.
I think it's so good. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm still kind of covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're still good.
You're
it's still
cool
good
in the pantheon.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to track number 4, If I Can Take You Home.
Nothing special, but if I could take you home, if I could take you home, if I could take you home.
A third song that feels pretty pop again.
Yeah. This one
Like,
feels very
1, 2, 3.
like I feel like maybe even a bigger left turn. I don't know, maybe not, but it's very different. But I honestly like the vibe of this one.
It becomes more rock later on in the track, right?
Yeah.
But it opens with this like
Super pop.
Euro dance kind of moment.
Josh, would you be willing to share the text message I sent you last week
Did you? Yeah.
regarding this song?
Yeah, let me pull it right up here.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Also, I'll take a second to mention again, the last track was a relationship song again, and so is this one. So
Yeah,
we're
but like,
we're just very heavy handed with the significant other, like lost love. will they,
well,
won't they?
I mean, like they're all kind of like I'm a fuck boy. I don't really want to be a fuck boy, but that's kind of where I'm at, which is why I think I related to it so hard in 2013.
Yep. Your text from last week, Kylan. I think 2001 is super overrated, to be honest. Man, I loved Clockwork Orange when I was a 20-something edgelord, but I don't think I could watch it now.
That's the one he was talking about.
That's it?
Oh,
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
the
that's
very
the one he was
next
talking
text
about.
you were talking about.
wow.
It's the very next one you're
wow.
saying. Okay,
Throw me
sorry.
under the bus. I still stand by that, though.
You said not to spoil Collapsible along too much, but man, pretty sure If I Can Take You Home is in my RK Bop 10 in a very high spot.
I get it.
Amen. It's
The
still,
mid tempo disco, like this is Kylan.
I mean,
Is this your favorite song on the record?
1,000%.
right.
Yes. Yeah.
It tracks.
I mean, everything, like the drum hits, like the pop synth, the discording guitar.
Oh, I
that's
love that
playing
little
right
Tim
now.
McTague Under Oath line.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
yeah.
Laser sounds.
Laser
I
sound.
just-
Laser
like-
sounds.
I just love, like, it's pretty, like, 4 on the floor, but then, like, on the drums, it's like, do-da, 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 do-da. Like, it has those, like, hits at the end that are always, like, really interesting. This might be, I'm so sorry, this might be my favorite Relient K song.
It's not, but I'll let you think that
You're
right
just
now.
feeling it right now. I
No,
know this is how
no,
you
it might
operate.
be.
You're in the moment with it, and I don't want to take that away
Well,
from
listen,
you, Kylan. But
This pre-chorus,
Guys, I know it's-
could
guys,
have been,
okay.
you could have written this pre-chorus like broken pieces of a shattered dream, or like a movie with a missing scene. You'd like to believe I'm nothing special.
If
That could have
I
been a
could
Kylan
take
pre-chorus.
you home. I mean, guys, here's the deal. Y'all both push back so hard that I have to double down. And now it is 1,000%. It is
okay, we're doing our RK Pop 10 next.
very
expect
much
to see
my
that number one.
favorite
It's gonna be
Relient
fun.
K song. No, it's so good, man. It's so like it. Also, hearing the song for the first time in 2013 when like it has such a pop sensibility, but the other pop songs that were like popular at that time, like I remember hearing like Moves Like Jagger. Like there is this real swagger and like hubris to like male centric pop music at this time of just like I'm hot shit. That Matt, to me, lyrically on this song, like really occupied a space that I really related to of like, oh man, okay, so based just solely on pop music, I have to operate within this space wherein I seem extremely confident, right? Like this is the mode that I have to like sell myself to everybody else. But I'm not actually that. I feel like I fall in love a little bit easier. The whole dating scene in 2013 was just like fucking hard. But I'm going to present myself as like an Adam Levine type. Like I can wear a leather jacket.
Yeah.
I'm cool as hell.
It's not up to me where you sleep. Like,
yeah. Like I don't care, but like deep down I like really do. And so like this song just like super resonated with me, like in terms of like a pop song that sort of expressed those sentiments, but was also like the nice boy is still like deep down in there. Like he's not like, hey, I'm gonna take you home. It's if I can take you home, right? Like, let me ask this as a question.
Just softened a little bit.
Yeah. Man, I love this song. Guaranteed, it's going to be number one on my Relient K Bop 10.
all right, you locked it in. I'll play this whenever we finally do that episode, so we can.
All right, perfect.
Hold true to it.
That makes a lot of sense. I think what's fascinating is like that very thing that you're pointing out is like why it makes me cringe a little bit, because that's just not what I go to Relient K for. Again, like I have to keep coming back to that kind of like criteria for what I'm like trying to suss out as I like engage with this record. And what I'm finding is exactly what you're describing, Kyle, and you articulated that really well, and why it would really resonate for a lot of people in 2013 that aren't going to be as precious about the band's legacy and like their direction, and why, as I'm taking the top-down view about their discography, why I'm like, this song is cool. Again, it's a little more rock, like it gets there, right? And it's really driving, and like it does have that swagger you're talking about. But ultimately, like, even if musically it feels a little more Relient K, we're back to our rock roots a little bit, even if they're a little more modern, a little more 2013, the lyrics still don't feel necessarily like a pillar Relient K song, at least. Maybe an outlier, maybe a B-side or something. A bird or a B-side, possibly.
Nice.
But it's like another relationship song. And so that's not what I go to. That's not the well of Relient K songs that I draw water from that fills my soul. So it doesn't really resonate with me. I don't know that it would have in 2013 either. Like I'm gonna go ahead and assert that. Like we can't know.
Yeah.
But like I don't know that it would have clicked. But it's so cool to hear that it did for you, and I completely see why it did. And I think it was doing everything that you're describing super well.
Right.
And I don't love Maroon 5. So like
Right. Well, yeah.
it's cool that Relient K was out there doing this kind of stuff too, you know?
Yeah. Well,
For a time.
you guys both knew me in 2013, so I think you can probably attest
Oh yeah, no, it does make sense
as to why I would relate to you. It made sense.
Yeah,
why I related
you and Teason
so
were
hard.
going through similar things.
We were,
going through some
man.
stuff, man.
Yeah,
And you were in it together. You were in the trenches, man.
You guys were.
I'm glad you had.
All right.
Josh, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just going to say that this one does have a Hoops writing credit on it as well,
cool.
as well as someone else named Fernando Garibay. And it also says 1/3 splits in case you're interested. They're splitting the song proper
Good to know.
thirds.
Oh, good.
That's great.
All right. Well, we can't complain that we're only on track 5. Jesus. Of this album. Track number 5, can't complain. Oh, I will ask, tracks 1 through 4 of this album so far, every time I listen to it, makes me think, is this a perfect pop rock record? I ask it every time by the time track 4 ends. So let's answer that question with track number 5, Can't Complain.
But I can't complain. I can't complain. Every day's too short to let it go to waste.
Where the answer is fuck no.
Oh, this was going to be my guess for your favorite song,
Okay,
Kylan?
friendship ended.
What, Kylan? You don't have a playlist of this song and then Sublime
And then
Bruno
every
Mars
Jason
and
Mraz
Jason
song?
Mraz.
Yep.
I mean, it's overtly like the Lazy Song.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
It's
so
like very
bad.
obviously Bruno
I
Mars.
hate it. I
Like,
hate
he
it.
was listening to a lot of those guys.
Like I had, I'm not going to deliver it here, but white guy reggae already. I like
You love it.
Like
You love white guy
guys-
reggae.
Uh-huh.
You guys
love it.
I had a similar diatribe that I did to whatever the fucking Fireproof Christian nationalist song was. I had a very similar vibe going into this. I was like,
Yeah.
get this Jason Mraz nonsense out of here. I hate that. This song, if it was not on this record, like this song would go up by multiple points. I hate this song. This song sucks.
Yeah.
Fuck this
Let
song.
me provide
Get it
some
out of here.
context to this song. It does have
Let's
a
get it.
co-write from, so it's co-written Matt Thiessen, Brian Lee, and Emily Wright, who Thiessen was later married to for a couple years. It is the second most streamed song on this record, which is egregious.
Wow.
And
Ew.
it has guest musicians on guitar, bass, and drums, which I would argue makes this the least Relient K song of their entire catalog, which kind of
Totally.
helps a little
Well,
bit.
yeah.
Kind of helps a little bit, but it's still, I say that I can complain about this song.
Yes, please. Let's complain about this song.
Well, it's funny because like we had like, okay, so on Lost Boy, I didn't give it as much hell then, but like I will now. The whistles and the piano bass line, like these are all like the pop kind of like implements of 2013.
Right.
And again, we have like a song that feels very much of the moment in a way that's not going to age well. The one redeeming moment for me is like the parlor piano at 2:14.
The Plinky piano bridge is great.
The plinky piano is cool.
Yes.
Yeah, at the bridge. So I like that musically. But what's like so frustrating to me is that it is all of the things that we've mentioned so far that makes it pretty terrible. But even though musically it couldn't be like, yeah, considered a Relient K song. I agree, Josh. Like I don't think you can call it that. But lyrically, like thematically at least, I like where Matt's head is at finally. Like I liked it on Don't Blink, and I've struggled to find like a place to resonate with where he's at. But I like it here. Like I like this idea of like life's gonna suck
You like
some
to
days.
just imagine your parking ticket's a ticket to a Broadway show.
All right, that's a little hokey. That's a little camp.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it all.
Okay, but what
I
I
like
think
what
we're
you're
drawing
drawing. I like what you're drawing at, TJ. Like,
yeah.
within the
You-
packaging
seeing
of if I can take you
the
home,
good within the bad.
right?
But that's the thing is like this whole record, he's more fucked up than he's willing
Oh.
to like
Yeah,
fully
There's a real
recognize,
paradox
which is
happening.
why I think I resonate with it. Like I love it so much.
and
I'm
then
like,
you get here and
dude,
you're like, ew,
dude, you just it's like
because it's like toxic
complain.
positivity.
yeah, fuck this
But
Jason
if you
Mraz
were to
nonsense.
like maybe temper the hokiness and like the part of it that's glossing over any trauma or suffering, just the part that's like I mean, because the pre-chorus has the line, "Pleasure's got to come with pain. Things won't always go my way. Life is gonna suck some days." If you just took that little bite right there and then ended it with, I can't complain.
you could put it in a fucking Geico commercial, like
Okay. I like the attitude he's got in the pre-chorus and the one line in the chorus.
In the one line, okay.
So do the executives at Geico Car Insurance.
So the marketing team there. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
so
at least they're
does
getting paid
the
better than me,
marketing
Kyle.
team of Airbnb. Like, I don't know, man.
So maybe I need to go work there. I don't know.
Maybe.
I guess I've got some
I mean,
hopes
I
and
get
dreams
it.
that
I
I
get
care
it.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest problem for me in this, there's a lot of like the lyrics that I'm like, whatever, sure, but you're building up to something. But my biggest
Right.
problem with it is how the second verse does not hit at all. Because like you've been,
No.
I feel like with like in like a country song or whatever, like any song, like you start with these situations and you build up and you build up and then you finally have something. So it's like the last
Right.
part of the second verse is spending Christmas Eve on the floor of the airport, dying to get back to the people that I care for. We're talking about something real here now. We're actually talking about people.
I love this, Josh. I love this.
This
I
is
know
where you deliver the John Hughes level revelation.
Yes.
But no, I'll just dream
Nope.
about my puppy in my bed back home. Like, that's
so
the
sad.
laziest.
Which actually,
out right
wait,
there.
hang on. I'm gonna make a case for this being the best song for Matt's darkest moment, based on what Josh is saying. For you, Kylan, for your sake, he doesn't even see how sad verse 2 is. He's trying to make it happy. He's trying to think about the people back home. All he's got is his puppy in his bed. That's so sad.
Yeah.
Which actually makes it really relatable, even if he's not aware.
Yeah.
but not in the way that he means it to be.
Not in the way.
Right.
Oh,
I don't
that's
know,
mean.
man. This is like, okay. I've been like pretty defensive of Matt trying to like break into like a different sort of like pop songwriter echelon, which is what I feel like a lot of this record is.
Well, look, it worked for Bruno Mars when he put out the song that was this song in 2010.
Yeah. This is the only part of the record where I draw the line. Where I'm like, no,
Yeah.
just fucking sell Lexapro somewhere else, man. Like this song, like you could just play this song and have someone like over top going like, side effects of Lexapro include concussions, deep hemorrhaging of your spleen. If you have any symptoms, please contact your doctor. But check out Lexapro at your local Walgreens. It just feels so like he went, like the dial went a little bit too hard.
Yeah,
for me.
It went super saccharine.
For sure. The bass is grooving. I can say that. The bass is really good.
I guess.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
not
fine.
John
Put in
Warren.
the sound effect.
So-
Sweet bass.
I mean, it's some musician, some studio guy, though, so I don't want to give it to him, you know? Take it
Yeah.
back. No SSB for you, Adam Gardner.
Yeah, no. If there's
does a good
one
job. He
thing
does a
we're
good job.
very serious
I mean, he
about
got
here
paid, right?
at Church Games Now, is to not give flowers to musicians who make it their job to do a really good job playing music.
For other musicians.
Trying to stick it to him.
Yeah, no. Josh has made that very clear. So fuck you, guy. Let's move on to track number 6.
That cookie
Gloria.
crumbled, man.
Why don't you teach me how to love? Why don't you show me what's up? I got the shakes and you're my drug. Why don't you teach me
This song is going to be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Again, we have like a moment like in pop history where like the chopped and spliced sample drums became everything for a while, right? And they decided to open their track with it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
To me, those drums are the collapsible lung. Like they're the sonic equivalent because you can hear the kind of note falling off. Boom, boom, boom.
Also, the middle of the record, too. Great place to put that. Yep.
True. Yeah.
Guys, I never loved this song.
Me
I
neither.
always disliked this song.
You're not
actually.
alone. It's the second least streamed song on the record.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Until I covered it for a compilation album put together by friends of the show, Sadie Hawkins Pod.
Yep.
Which, if I remember correctly, because they'll always like post and like share either on the episode or like on socials, like covers that they find of all the songs. Did Danny say that they couldn't find any covers of this song?
Correct.
Like, no one had covered it.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But they put this out online, and I was like, all right, I can do this. And honestly, I had a lot more fun covering a song that I wasn't as emotionally connected to. But the two of y'all both contributed to that cover.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
TJ's
Voxer,
BGVs, so nice
all
on
over.
it.
oh,
I forgot how
Josh.
cute Willow's
So good.
feature is because I hadn't listened to it in a while. And I was like,
Oh,
my
it's
gosh,
so good,
it's so
right?
cute.
It's so
Yeah.
good. That's her first of two current features she has on compilation albums right now.
Her debut. Yeah, check it out, listeners,
Yeah.
jammers
Yeah.
out
we
there.
could put it at the end of the show.
Yeah,
But also check
Yeah.
out the
Yeah.
compilation, the Replaceable Hips compilation that Sadie Hawkins Pod put together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
When was that? Two years ago?
2023, yeah, for the 10th year anniversary.
Wow. Yeah.
But I will say, like what you're talking about, Kylan, this is the perfect example of a song that I never cared for before, of someone taking the bones of it and reiterating it and helping me be like, oh, I actually like, there are some good bones in here. I
Like,
do like this song.
there's
I
something
just
here,
didn't like,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
totally reimagined it in a way that I changed my mind on it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
your interpretation definitely unlocked it for me too, in a way that helped me see this as maybe one of the stronger songs for me personally on this record.
Right.
Not my favorite, but it's probably like top 3 or 4. I love Matt's vocal reaches on this. Like he starts out real scratchy in a way that I don't think we've heard before from him. He's just real sassy too. He's very like salty on this one. You know, sometimes across this album, he gets that way to a degree that I'm not really like resonating with, but like for whatever reason, it was working for me on this one. Just the way he says, when you're wrong, you're always right. 10 out of 10. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a win.
Yeah. I never like really loved this song, but now since I recorded that cover, I've only played 2 shows live. But I've had Willow come on stage and sing both times with me because she loves this song. And it makes
Nice.
me appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with it. It's still very far down for me for like this song, but at least I see it in a different light now because like I don't just look at it and be like, oh, this song is pretty bad. I'm like, I don't like this version of the song, but the song itself is more redeemable
It's
than
good.
I initially thought. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I think I really like the bridge in a way that makes the song work for me because
That makes sense. Because I
up
hate
till
the
that
bridge
point-
because I could not figure it out. And so it makes sense that you would love it.
No, it is. You're right. Like the bridge is a moment that's very like a musical almost.
Yeah.
It's very like avant-garde and just random, and you don't see it coming. And I do think that's why I like it. I also think that it contextualizes everything that came before it thematically because it's like it up until that point, it feels like Matt's like a bully almost, or he's like being unfair to this Gloria character. But then the bridge where he's postulating, he's like, well, I guess it's love. Flower petals
Petals
everywhere.
everywhere.
I guess it's love. Running fingers through your hair. I guess it's love when you tell me what to wear. I guess it's love when you're going through my phone. I guess it's love when I can't go out alone. I guess it's love when you got me feeling
Yeah.
low. Why don't you
Yeah.
teach me? And so it
Oh, it's
becomes
so
very
good.
like
It's so good.
gaslit, like victim.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I think that's why the song ultimately works is because it has that moment that just like is the country song turn that you were talking about, Josh, that the other song didn't have. This one has it. Where you're like, oh my God, what's happening here? So it makes
twice,
the like
Matt.
blink twice. it makes the dark night of the soul that he's having makes sense for me. So this song is like where that works, not just as a pop song, but I think as a Relient K song a little bit. For whatever reason, like it feels like it has a little bit more of like the heart of a Relient K song, if maybe a B-side or something. It has the energy that feels authentic that you were talking about, Kyle, and that like maybe some of the others were lacking, where he's just like trying to show his songwriting chops. This one feels like it's kind of got the heart. But,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It knows what's up. What's up. I like that part.
All right, guys.
It's a track
Let's move
6.
on to track number 7, PTL. I wonder what
Praise the
that
Lord?
stands for. Probably.
Yo, this song is a bop.
It is so good.
so good.
This is almost my favorite song.
It's
on the
almost mine,
record.
too.
It's my number 2.
It's the
Wait,
stompy samples. That's
wait.
why you like it.
Probably. We haven't hit either of y'all's favorite yet, right?
Nope.
Nope.
Ooh.
Nope, I have not. But this is of like, we dabble a little bit into like some generic songwriter territory, but it does feel like a lived experience. So I do believe Matt a little bit more on this one for some of those just like regular standard songwriter stuff. But man, the chorus, I love this. Has the synth in there. I love that part. And Teese's falsetto. I'm like, I could be forgetting something,
great.
but I feel like he doesn't go to his falsetto all that much in RK or stay in it as much as he does here. Right. Which is really cool.
I think he uses it in moments that sort of glimmer in other albums. But you're right, he hangs out there more here.
I mean, this is the best Maroon 5 song of all time.
Exactly.
Like, this
You
is
either like
so Adam Levine.
Or you like that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it on this one. I was also I was mostly here for it on If I Could Take You Home, but I'm fully here for it on PTL.
Yep.
Yeah. But I do love the jump to in like the bridge, the down chorus when he goes to his regular like chest voice that you're used to hearing. And you're like, oh, there's Matt. And then he jumps back up again to the head voice again for like the last chorus. So I just really like this song. It's really good. You get a little fuzzy guitar solo that maybe hoops.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
I love a pop song that I can't actually sing along to. I will try my damnedest to sing along to it, but I can't. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's real dirty, that guitar line.
Yeah, it's very fuzzy, which makes me think that's got to
it.
be hoops probably because that's like a guitarist's guitar tone. Right there. And then this part.
Yeah, the phasey BGBs.
It's
So
some ear
good.
candy. I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
so good.
My only critique of this song is I'm not a big fan of like, or I guess I should say it has its place where it makes sense, but I a lot of times want more lyrical content than I'm given in a song like this, where in the pre-chorus they sort of just preempt the lyrics in the chorus. It was far too late before I figured it out. I never meant to be your one night, one mistake. And then we hit the chorus and it's I never meant to be your part-time lover. Like it sometimes it kind of just feels lazy to me. It's a great tool and it's effective, especially in a pop context. So I can't complain about it. But
All right, Lost Boy.
I have to say that it's not my favorite thing, and especially when I've seen Matt write some really thoughtful, detailed, interesting pre-choruses that don't reuse the same ideas from a chorus. And again, that's like, that's the same sort of critique or issue that I've had. Like, it's just like, I want to see Matt writing Matt songs and writing Relient K songs. That said, this is a banger. It's so catchy. His vocals are incredible.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It just feels like at
so
this
weird.
point, this whole episode is just a disaster.
It is.
Yeah.
Songwriting credits, if I may. is Thiessen, of
Okay.
course. We had Caleb Owens for our first one. We can move it. Just cut it. And then we had Matt Musto, who
My
also wrote
transition
Lost Boy.
is a disaster because
It's
of
a disaster
this.
now.
Okay, please let's get those songwriting credits clean because that's
good,
more
'cause-
important than my transitions.
Because Caleb Owens is going to come back in a couple songs.
Yes, he is. Thank you, Josh.
I thought you were going to say he was going to come on in a couple episodes.
Yep, he's coming on. Actually, I brought him in the waiting room right now.
All right,
Oh,
track
what?
number 8, Disaster.
I'm trying to figure out if life's worth living without you. Hope I never have to. The stars could align. No.
I have so many thoughts on this song.
Because it's
Are
the
your
format
thoughts
song.
that it's a Dog Problems B-side?
God damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Yes.
Those are my only thoughts.
Because it's Feist 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a Muppets credits song. Is that what your thoughts are?
Okay, no, but okay. God damn it. All right, fine. All right, there's nothing else to talk about on Disaster. Let's move on to track number 9, When You
go
Were
off,
My
King.
Baby.
Go off, King. Tell us your thoughts.
No, that was it. Wow,
that's what
y'all
the format
rushed.
called. They want their Dog Problems B-side.
Yes, y'all rushed so hard. Yeah, no, that was essentially it. But okay, the only other thing I'll say is this song is what made it click for me that okay, so much of the first half of this album felt like an audition, right? Like to be a pop songwriter. It was putting
Right.
this song on the record that made it feel like less of an audition and more like Matt just exploring types of
Songwriting tropes.
and
Yep.
types of
Totally.
production that like he enjoyed, right? Like,
Yeah. And that he hadn't gotten a chance to yet.
yeah, exactly.
Which I can totally respect.
Like I could hear him listening to Dog Problems and being like, "Oh man, I want to do that.
could do that.
I want to run a carnival while also fronting an indie pop band."
Being in a pop punk band.
I have often said that in my life. Those
Same.
exact words.
Same. Yeah, because this isn't an audition for anything except for to be in the format. So
to open.
Which has
for the
long
format.
been gone by 2013.
yeah,
Fun is
exactly,
not a thing.
exactly.
He's like,
Maybe he
bring
was
it
trying
back.
to join fun. He's like, hey, Nate,
Yeah.
listen what I
Right.
can do.
Right.
Hey, that'd be a good show.
Him and Jack Antonoff, and then the other guy from
Wait, Jack Antonoff was in that
Fella?
band? No.
guys. I don't know if you know. Yeah,
Hot take.
No, I will say, yeah, you love Jack Antonoff. I will say this song experienced a pretty big glow up for me this week.
It's
this
so
is a song
good,
I
right?
Never really cared
Yes.
for.
I
never
always
cared for it, and I
Yes.
would have been like, "This is one of my least favorites on the record." And then I listen to "Can't Complain." I'm like, "This is the worst song on the record."
right, right.
But this one, I will say, the verses are pretty bad. Baby, you look so sexy. I'm like,
Okay.
Thiessen, get off of there. Like, that's not it.
Do
man.
while we're talking about the verses, does anybody know what the hell is happening in the verses?
Are you talking about the horns?
I'm lost. No, the
Or
verse,
what?
the
Or
lyrics.
the lyrics. I'm not sure.
I'm lost.
I'm not sure.
I don't know anything that's going on. Kylan, do you understand
No.
it? Like, I'm completely confused.
You know, you get home from church and the baby's in
What's
the room
with the
sleeping.
missing person poster?
Well, okay, okay. Listen,
what is happening?
can I just like pull a full TJ to explain
Yeah.
why I'm just like okay with this song? My
Yes.
head canon is Matt Thiessen gets home after a long day of work and he pops in his VHS copy of the Steve Taylor directed Newsboys starring movie Under the Big Top. And he
Got it.
just watches that movie and maybe like kind of talks about
Okay.
it. And then like in the musical of Collapsible Lung, he's singing a song about enjoying the movie Under the Big Top.
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Is there a baby
There's
in
a baby,
her room
though.
sleeping?
I haven't dug that deep. So,
Okay.
but speaking of
workshop it.
babies,
Jammers, if
track
you're out
number
there
9.
and you know what's happening in the verse,
No.
When you were
Let
my
us know.
baby. Oh, come on. That was a good transition. Come on. All right.
That
all right,
was so
fine.
good.
Okay, fine.
I do want
What
to
else?
just say, like I would say, the verses I feel like are pretty cringe and bad.
Yeah,
and this
no,
one, to be
they're
fair,
bad.
is the only Soul Thiessen writing credit on the record. So this is
interesting.
100% Thiessen. But
Wow,
the
okay.
chorus, I do feel like, does kind of dip into our tried and true, our case of like, I react a bit faster when I'm averting disaster. The stars could align or
Yes.
explode in the sky. That I'm like, okay, there's
Yep.
the Thiessen wit that I like, that I
Yes.
feel at
Yes.
home with. So
Agreed.
verses are bad, choruses are good.
Yep. Yeah. It's nice to see some moments of like the kind of tried and true Relient K songwriting coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for mentioning that, Josh.
Yes.
Well said.
Moving on to track number 9, When You Were My Baby.
When you were my baby, you must have done something to change me. 'Cause nothing ever seemed to faze me till tonight.
Guys, this is so good.
It is.
Do you hate it?
This one's
Do you hate
pretty
it?
good. Yeah,
No, I like it. It feels like a Relient K song to me.
Yeah.
it does. Because this is now the third consecutive Relient K release to have a song featuring Baby in the title. So, I mean, they've established it starting in
weird.
2009. So, it is kind of weird.
Yeah.
This one is written by Thiessen, Hoops, and Caleb Owens, who we talked about, but who is in the Tooth and Nail band that it Becoming and does Bones Owens now.
It's like slower, but it still feels propulsive and energetic, which is like something that I think Relient K has done really well in the past.
Yeah.
It's got the mallet bells that we've heard in some cool
And
Relient K
Or
songs.
classic
in the past.
Sleigh
MLT.
bells.
Yep.
And sleigh
Yep.
bells, which I'm
Oh, yeah. True.
I'm typically like pretty wary of.
You're on the fence about them.
But
Yeah.
it works. It works for me.
Yeah. And it does feel kind of like it was in line with Forgetting Not So Down of like following the breakup or whatever. So it like kind of maybe feels a little autobiographical and therefore believable. The guitar line that comes in at 49 seconds is great, but it reminds me that I was like, oh, I haven't been able to talk about Hoops' guitar lines in half the record, like since like track 3 maybe, which I'm like, wow, where's Hoops been this whole time? Hoops,
Right.
he did it again.
Hoops, he
Which-
did it again. He disappeared.
He
from
did
this
it again,
record.
but
He disappeared.
which Caleb Bones is credited with some additional guitar on this, so it could honestly be him. But that makes me then be like, oh yeah, where's like? It's once again, it just feels like it's been Thiessen. It doesn't feel like it's been a band effort because I'm like, oh yeah, there's guitar,
Right.
cool. Where is Hoops been?
Right. Oh, yeah. I remember that from previous
Yeah.
albums. It's true. This one I like in a way that feels like the other side of the coin from Don't Blink, because in Don't Blink we have that cliffhanger ending that Relient K also has been known to do really effectively, but in a way that for me personally didn't land because it sort of points back to the like romantic love dynamic in a sad kind of forlorn way. And this one is like a really, I think, like strong cliffhanger, thinking when you were my baby and the whole world was, and he doesn't finish the statement. That feels like classic Relient K of like kind of just leaving the listener hanging, but in a way that actually makes you think and like expound on an idea about whether like what ultimately matters in life and like the people that you care about, holding
Right.
them close, making the most of a relationship. I don't know. There was something about the way it happened in this song that was a little more compelling for me. And this brought me back to like being like, oh yeah, in 2013, there are banger Relient K songs happening deep in the record, which is
Deep.
pretty cool.
Yeah. No, the last couple songs I feel like have been pretty strong. Side B is pretty good on this record.
Yeah. Well, I hope the next song.
It's sweeter than side A. It's what you could maybe say.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Track number 10, Sweeter.
She's sweeter than sugar till the sun goes down. Don't allow her to sour.
This song, I appreciate what it does for the record. It feels like a very good penultimate song to kind of bring things down. That said, I don't really care for it. Other than it does that part effectively, for it functions in the record well. But other than that, I don't like the song.
Tell me more about why you hate
It
country
just doesn't
music.
work. Yeah.
I mean,
Like, it just doesn't work for you. Like, what it's like, you can see what it's trying to do, but it doesn't land.
well, dynamically, I think it does a good job of that. I don't know. I just don't like this. Like, the lyrics are a bummer, and the song is slow, and so I'm just like, I don't know. I don't really dig it as much. I feel like it also is a little too long. I feel like you could have ended it at 3:22, and it would have been a cool mood to end it. But then they do this chorus again that I'm like, I didn't really need to hear this chorus again. I've heard it enough times, I feel like. But, so, just not my fave. Kylan,
That's fair.
you like this one?
I love this song, man. It's so good. I'm good.
I think it's
I'm
pretty
good
cool.
with a chill song at this point.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think the record needs it.
Yeah, but
I like the organ a lot.
So I don't understand why
It's a nice texture.
you're being a jerk about it. Like, why? Oh, the record needs it. I just don't like it. Like, what's your problem?
It needs a song like this. I just maybe don't like this specific song.
Why?
I'm just
Why?
not as invested
It's so
in it.
good.
It's fine.
Yeah. I agree with you, Colin. I think it's pretty cool. To me, this is another moment, like I mentioned on Gloria, where like his saltier side of like the fuckboy, like relational aspect of Thiessen coming out in a big way on this record that didn't really hit for me, like didn't resonate with me. Like Gloria was a moment where it quickly did, like his saltier side of that. And then this is a moment where his like sad, his like, puppy in a truck sitting on the front porch with my buddy playing the song. It's like the sad moment. It feels like a song we might have written in 2013, Kylan, if we were drinking a bit too much and wanted to write a sad boy ballad.
Just like hanging
I could see
out
us
on
writing
the
this
porch. Yes.
Yeah.
I think this is like a perfect porch song.
I'll agree to that. It's a porch song.
Usually the songs we wrote were either like really like hyperactive happy songs or like sometimes angry, but if we were going to write a sad one, it would be like it would sound like this, I think.
Yeah. I think that's why
the like
I love it.
the dueling vocals too kind of makes
Yep.
me think about that, because I feel like there's some qualities in, because this is Caleb, right? You mentioned we'd bring him up again, Josh, sharing vocal duties with Matt. I feel like the qualities in their voices remind me of things that I hear when we do dual vocals.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I get it, man. It's a cool tune.
My last note is that it's no wonder that Kylan likes this record so much, because this is the longest song and it's just 4 minutes long. So it's the only 4 minute song.
Yeah,
on the
I
record.
know.
Yeah,
I
just
know.
In and out.
Because like my first couple listens, I was like, this song is like so long. Oh man, this is nothing compared to Starflyer 59 with his 6-minute guitar bends.
Yep.
Like, this is
Oh,
great.
my God. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, it comes down to this, the last track of the album Collapsible Lung by American rock band Relient K. We have, of course, the title track, Collapsible Lung.
Between the miles of open road, I lost sight of what might matter the most. I stumbled into the
Okay, TJ, it's your favorite?
You got me. Predictable. I know.
Me too.
Josh, you too. I
also.
I feel
did
like this
not.
is the most predictable song. I feel like this is like the one song that all the Reliant K fans are like, Collapsible Lung. The song is great.
It's great. Yep.
Yes.
It is.
It's all right.
It's a great
It
song.
doesn't belong on this record. Get it out of here.
No, Don't Blink and
Okay.
Collapsible Lung do not.
No. Okay, yeah. So what would you call this record if Don't Blink and Collapsible Lung weren't on it, Kylan? Say there's some other songs that are like him exploring songwriter tropes or him auditioning to be a songwriter.
I mean, If I Could Take You Home would be a good... I feel like If I Could Take You Home is sort of the basis of what like a lot of other things on the record. Like it's sort of a Rosetta Stone for me of what a lot of the record is.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, but why is this both of y'all's favorite?
Josh, go ahead.
I mean, this is just Relient K doing what Relient K does in a way that, especially, I think it also helps that you had to go through the last 9 songs and then you're like back home with Relient K. So I think that also probably helps. If this was track 1, you'd probably like be like, I really like this song. But I think because it feels like a return to form, and especially like for RK fans in 2013, when you're like, what's going on with this band that I loved? What's happening? When this hits, you're like, okay, they're not gone. Like, they still have it. Like,
Still there.
the classic, I do the twist with my replaceable hips. Like, that's so Thiessen in the best way. And just, it has so much energy. And I just love how it starts of having the sound of the guitar plugging back in. It's like, okay, we're getting back to what you know and love about RK. We're plugging our instruments back in. Hoops is actually on the record.
Yeah.
So it's
I like
like
that.
I love that of like, and also I think it does echo like a similar sentiment of Don't Blink, of like time won't slow down. So take a breath and take it in. So it definitely bookends well with having the Thiessen and Hoops Don't Blink written song to start the record and the Thiessen and Hoops co-write song to end the record.
To close it. Yes. Completely agree. Yeah, on all counts. Yeah, and I love that point of like getting to hear the guitar being plugged in grounds you and like reminds you like, oh, this is like a rock band and like they're capable of writing great songs.
Yeah.
And even the opening like intimate intro between the miles of open road, I lost sight of what matters the most, stumbled into the great unknown and found that time won't slow down. The fact that it's this quiet opening moment at the end of an album that was like a lot of glitz and glamour and like pop tropes that are all great, but like that's a very different vibe than like the kind of contemplative moment that Matt's bringing us into and reminding us like he can write great lyrics, and he doesn't first introduce that to us in an anthemic, like loud full band chorus. He shows it to us in an intimate moment. Those are some of my favorite Relient K moments. So I'm really grateful that we got that on this album, because I was worried we wouldn't get a lot of that. And so it was a nice touch to get at the very end. I also think verse 1 is like incredible. I'm getting by with my collapsible lung, and it's a good time 100% of the time. I'm like a ladder with a missing rung, and it's a slow climb headed back to the sky, and I'm feeling backwards when I'm trying the most, and I hope I haven't heard the last words from the Holy Ghost, because I think that I'm supposed to be well on my way by now, which is, again, part of that dark night of the soul that you were talking about, Kylan. Like, I think Matt's starting to reckon a little bit with what he's dealing with. I think in the other songs, we're seeing him wrestling, and I think he's acknowledging it in this song. He's looking back.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is what makes
it's coming
me,
full circle.
I think, like, love the record as a whole, because like Matt is so self-aware in these like last final moments of the record. Like, to me, it's like musically and lyrically, it feels like him recognizing like, ugh, all right, that was rough, guys.
Yeah.
I was going through some shit.
Well, yeah, the way it starts with Don't Blink, he's like, oh, life is beautiful. Like, he's like, oh, okay, I'm back out of it. I'm back. But then he doesn't realize he has a lot of stuff that he hasn't dealt with. And that's like the next 9 songs.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm fine. It's like, I went through some bad stuff, but I'm good. And then he's going through realizing, you're like, oh, maybe I am. And this is the song where he's like, oh, I really had to deal with some stuff there.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I want to grow old and rub your tired limbs and take it easy until we wither away. There's a lot of found humanity in this song, which is really cool because, like, yeah, I think the Relient K fan worries that, like you said at the beginning of this episode, that they lost the plot. But over the journey that Matt went on, like, I think he found it again. And I love the outro.
But I think
I'll take a breath and take it in to think of the places I'll go that I haven't been, because that means he's still looking ahead and looking at the future, and he's not just lost in like being stuck in the past or in the present chaos. He's like hopeful and optimistic at the end of the album.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we listened to all of Collapsible Lung. Some of us may have enjoyed it more than others. So we have to get down to final flop or bop verdicts. Josh, what order should we do this in?
I mean, we feel like we could do the same order that we did with me, TJ, Kylan.
Yeah.
Perfect. Love
I
it.
like that.
Love it. Let's do it.
I will start off by saying sometimes when we do records, I'll put in like a few overall thoughts at the end. Sometimes I don't even, because I'm like, I feel like I can go off of everything that we've kind of said on the record. I kind of just go, I have it. I have so many overall thoughts that I've written out here on this record. And I don't think I need to go through all of them because we've kind of touched on them throughout this episode. So I'll try to be brief. Overall, like we've talked about, that it's a fine pop record, but it doesn't feel like a fine RK record to me. And I did feel like it was unashamedly trying to get radio play. And I feel like it was more than maybe it actually was. I think my perception of the record has grown. Songs I didn't like before, like Disaster, I do appreciate a lot more now. And same thing as Gloria, even if I'm not crazy about that specific song. I did have some kind of stuff of like, if Thiessen and Adam and Hoops had maybe tried to write a pop record to get radio play, maybe that would have been better and would have felt more true to RK. But of course, the grass is always greener. But where I ultimately land with this, so it's a fine pop record. My biggest problem with this, and the reason I'm going to flop it, is because it feels like I can't help but feel, no, this is a different reason, Kyle, than you're thinking of, is because of, I feel like the wasted talent in making this record. Because, in my opinion, the Forgetting Not So Down era of RK was in my opinion, their most talented lineup. And they did Bird and the B-Sides, which was great, Forgetting Not So Down, which is my favorite RK record. But then they were in Thiessen and maybe the band as well were going through some tough stuff and they didn't really know what they wanted to do. So they made the covers record and then they made this. And ultimately I'm like, man, you had the best musicians, I think, for a studio record in the band at this time. And you were just going through so much personal stuff that you couldn't figure out what to do. And then you made this record that didn't even I'm sure Ethan played on it, but nothing that sounds like what Ethan did on the drums on Forgetting Not So Down is present. And the other guys, there's times where I'm like, oh, maybe Hoops is playing guitar here. But it's just a Thiessen record with other songwriters. So that is honestly the part that bums me out the most, because we had my favorite Relient K record made by these same musicians. And then we had this record, which does not utilize them, I feel like, at all. And so that's really where I land on why this is a flop for me. It's a fine record. There's some problems with it, but there's also a lot more credit than I think a lot of Relient. It needs to get more credit than a lot of Relient K fans, and even myself at times need to have given it credit for. But ultimately, that's where I land, is that it's just a bummer that this is the last thing that they all did, but this is kind of wherever they, Ethan left the band before this record came out, and then the Johns followed soon after. And I have to imagine it was probably because of not knowing where they wanted to steer the Relient K ship because of what was going on. If they had maybe just churned out another solid record where they were all contributing and whatnot, I'm sure maybe they would have stuck around longer and we would have got more great output from them. So that's ultimately where I land.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right.
That tracks.
Well, I was wrong there. I can't believe... Okay, but can we just take a second, as an organization, to recognize that Josh Olson flopped a Relient K album?
I did.
Yeah, we need to.
Did. Yeah.
We need to
it has
recognize
happened.
That's huge, right?
It has
Well,
happened.
I'm glad that it wasn't the previous record that we covered that you were on the fence about, because that would have broken my heart more. So I'll say that as a silver lining. But I'm sorry for you, Kylan, because I know
It's
this
fine.
You'll say that
It's
because the
fine.
lining is silver.
holds a
It's
special
fine.
place. in your heart.
Guys, I get it. I know Relient K fans don't like this record, and I understand why. You're all wrong, but I get it.
You understand why we're wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
sweet
get,
of you.
I
Kylan.
get
It's very
why
generous.
you're ignorant and wrong.
We're just a bunch of lost boys, you know. That don't know.
Apparently. Okay, TJ.
Well, let me expound
What do you got?
on why I'm so wrong. So,
Okay.
I agree with you, Josh. I love that point about wasted talent. While I also do appreciate, Kylan, like what you brought to bear about Matt, like as an artist, as a writer, like going through some shit and using music to process that. I think that's valid. As humans, I think like we get to make art to process things and to try to understand ourselves better and the world around us. And so I love that you made that point, because I don't think I was offering this album that perspective before you kind of brought that up in this conversation. Ultimately, I think that's why, like, if it were a Matt Thiessen and the Earthquakes album, or like an album that was all Matt Thiessen's songwriting credits done by other artists or something to that effect, I think I would bop that. But for me, like, I'm gonna be a little like straight-laced with my criteria, like I've said that multiple times during this episode, that like I look to Relient K for certain things. And if you're going to call a release a Relient K album, if I can't check enough of those boxes that I want to find in a Relient K album, I can't flop that album. Or I can't bop that album. I have to flop it. So I'm kind of flopping it on a technicality, while I can also fully recognize that there are some stellar pop songs on this record that I really respect and wish I could have written, frankly, because they're so good. And I wish that I could have heard what would have been the album that I think you were wanting, Josh, to see with that lineup from Forget Not Slow Down. That would have been really cool. But I also love that this exists as a part of the Relient K story, as a part of Matt Thiessen's like journey as a human, as a songwriter, and like us being privy to that feels a little like, you know, voyeuristic maybe, because he's really airing his dirty laundry for us more than ever on this album. And I think I go to Relient K, like one of the boxes that I wanted to check on this album, like what I go to Relient K for is like some punny, witty writing, a lot of heart, some gravitas, frankly, at this point in their career especially. I want some grounded songwriting that feels like mature, and I think we got that at times across this album that worked in a way that worked for me, like Don't Blink and Collapsible Lung, like really felt like that. There were also a lot of songs that just felt hung up in corners of the mind or the heart that were really like bittersweet and sad, and that just like bums me out. And so I think like it was hard for me as a listener to wade into those places, especially through the channel of like whistling pop songs. Like that felt really weird and like kind of a juxtaposition of mind and heart that I couldn't hang with necessarily.
Right.
So that was tough for me. I wanted like a little bit of hope, a little bit of optimism, a little bit of like maybe some world weary wisdom. We got that. Even sweeter, you know, there was some like some world weary country wisdom kind of at the core of that song that I really appreciated. I'm trying to kind of highlight the songs that I appreciated that felt like authentic Thiessen. There were a handful of them, but overall, this just like, yeah, ultimately just didn't feel like a Relient K record, while still being a pretty cool audition record for Matt Thiessen as best pop songwriter of 2013. So,
Okay. All right.
with that in mind,
right.
I gotta flop it. But I'm sorry, buddy.
Wow.
I know.
Guys. Okay. Genuinely, though, for how mad people have been towards me, just in general with Church Jams Now takes, I do understand. And like, I think most people will be on your side for this album specifically.
I hope there's some apologists out there with you, Kylan.
But like the only thing that I'm holding on to is like, okay, maybe people will be mad at you that you just flopped any Relient K record. Like,
Yeah.
like
It's true.
I get it. Okay, it's not a Relient K record. It's a Matt
Right.
Thiessen working through some shit pop
Yep.
record.
Totally.
But, you know, we do also have to grapple with the fact that this was released under the name Relient K.
It's true.
Each of us, like, personally has to figure out, like, what does that mean when a band that we love or that we go to for specific insights, production, lyrical content, when a band that we love for these certain things, like, don't deliver on
Yeah,
those,
throws
like,
us a curveball.
for us as a consumer, right? Like, do we throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Like, do
Right.
you just write this off? Which it has always been my concern talking about this record with other people, but which is what I love about this show and talking about albums with you guys, because I know you won't do that.
Yep.
So when at the end of this conversation, like the two of y'all both flop it, it makes sense, right? Like you guys gave a lot of context as to why you don't love it.
But it's still in the discography and it's still a part of the story. Like, it doesn't get a zero
Right.
score from me.
Right.
And that's a big deal. Like, I want to make that very clear.
Yeah. I will say I feel like an island in terms of my collapsible lung love, which is fine. Like,
Stand firm on your island,
Just
man.
do the
Plant your
dance
flag
with
in
your
it.
replaceable hips, Kylan.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Like, you know, I think I've said multiple times in this episode, like, I understand, like I get why Relient K fans do not like this album. And
Yeah.
honestly, if Matt Thiessen came out with an interview where he's like, I hate this album, similar to the Sufjan Stevens thing that we talked about recently, like,
Right.
I would get it. Like, I understand. Like, it, in a lot of ways, it does. Like, there's so many parts of this album that feel like a betrayal of the sort of like artistic persona that he was going for. But the fact that this album went through so many people, from co-writers to producers to A&R people to label executives, I really do think this album was an attempt to break into a different level
Totally.
of
Definitely.
songwriter, of like pop persona
Yeah. A different part of the music world.
that so few bands and people have ever actually like reached, right?
Yeah. No, it's a big swing and you can feel it, which is cool.
Yeah.
I respect it. And I respect your advocacy of that too.
Yeah.
I think
and
it's
I think
really
even
cool.
though TJ and I are flopping it on for the record, I think we are all agreed that it is better than a lot of people think. And it does have some highlights that
completely
people maybe don't give it enough credit for. That there are some really good things
Yeah.
to latch onto, even if overall it doesn't hit for you.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
a couple songs in there other than the
if nothing
bookends.
else, it's like a cool thought experiment of like, what if Relient K were like a full radio pop band?
Right,
It's
right,
like, what
right.
if they always were
Exactly.
that and continued on that trajectory? It's like you get to see like a sideways world version of
Yeah.
like a
Yeah,
different.
that would be
Relient
interesting.
K
What if this
in the
record had like
multiverse.
caught on and like singles had like, and then they
Right.
became, that's like,
Right.
yeah.
Like
That's very
what if
interesting to
Relient
think
K
about.
was
What if this had worked?
like on tour
Maroon
with
5.
Maroon 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, totally.
Yeah. So full on bop from me.
Hell yeah,
All right.
love that.
But
Get it, boy.
I get why people wouldn't love it. But
Yeah.
you know what? It's fine. Fuck you. I like what I like. Sorry. Okay.
I can't complain,
If-
Kylan. I can't complain.
Okay, good. I do feel like a lost boy whenever I start talking about this record. If you enjoy this, we have more nonsense like it at our Patreon at patreon.com/Church James Now podcast. And of course, from all of us here, the Church James Now crew, may all your favorite bands stay together. Peace out, Monfreres.
Did you blink?
Snap back, snap back. Here we go again.
alone with you. I never know with you. You're keeping me in the dark. Got your fast moves in, got your 1-2s, and I can never let down my guard. You say you can never do better than me. Hey, Gloria, let's come over ya. Why don't you teach me how? Why don't you teach me how to love? Why don't you show me what's up? I got the shakes and you're my drug. Why don't you teach me how? Why don't you teach me how? Why don't you teach me how to fight? 'Cause when you're wrong, you're always right. Got a lot of nerve, I've got a lot to learn. Teach me how. Why don't you teach me how to love? Telling lies, swatting kisses like they're flies, doing everything I can to survive. Keep me in the cold, raking me over the coals, either freeze me or burn me alive. You say you can never do better than me. Oh, hey, Gloria, I'm kinda sore with you. Why don't you teach me how? Why don't you teach me how to love? Why don't you show me what's up? I've got the shakes and you're my drug. Why don't you teach me how? Why don't you teach me how? Why don't you teach me how to fight? 'Cause when you're wrong, you're always right. I've got a lot of nerve, I've got a lot to learn. Why don't you teach me how? Why don't you teach me how to love? I guess it's love, flower petals everywhere. I guess it's love running fingers through your hair. I guess it's love when you tell me what to wear. I guess it's love when you're going through my phone. I guess it's love when I can't go out alone. I guess it's love when you got me feeling low. Why don't you teach me how? Why don't you teach me how? Why don't you teach me how to love? Why don't you show me what's up? I've got the shakes and you're my drug. Why don't you teach me how? Why don't you teach me how? Why don't you teach me how to fight? 'Cause when you're wrong, you're always right. You've got a lot of nerve, I've got a lot to learn. Why don't you teach me how? Why don't you teach me how to love?
So curious. Like,
Just in general. about life.
I'm just so curious about life. No,
Just a
I'm
curious
I'm
little cat.
He really is, though.
I am.
That's true.
I'm anxious about this episode a little bit. But
Oh no.
well, simply because like I know this album has like a particular like reputation online, at least in the circles that we run in. And I'm put in a weird position where I feel very strongly about this album and I'm really excited to talk about it, but I'm also typically like the least prepared person on this podcast. So
I don't think that's true.
I'm worried I'm going to be like a terrible
Advocate for it.
yes, exactly. Exactly. But
I guess we'll see.
know.
We'll find out
I'm going to try.
if you can sway the masses.
I know I can't. I know for a fact I can't. Let's do it.